Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another IFED Night Talk. My name is Andrea Ricci from Florence, Italy, but tonight I'm known as Andrea King. Today, I have the honor to host Professor Jaime Gil from Bilbao, Spain, actual president of the IFED, and Gil&Att, president of the Arabic Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry from Boston in the US. So let me start first, since they don't need any introduction. Let me start with Jaime. So what is your story? How did you end up doing what you're doing today?
Thank you, Andrea. Since I was a child, I wanted to become a medical doctor. My father, who was certainly my role model, he explained me, amongst other things, these two things. In life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you fight for. And secondly, if there is a will, there is a way. I wanted to become a medical doctor. I went through secondary school with top grades. When I graduated, I entered the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Bilbao. When I was on my third year, I was invited by our family dentist, Dr. Girarda, to visit his office. And accepting this invitation, I went to his office very, very frequently. I enjoyed it very much, and I developed a passion for dentistry. So when I finalized medical studies, I had no doubt I wanted to go to the University of Madrid Faculty of Dentistry to become a dentist. I went there, and I found out, being there, that this doctor, this professor from the University of Southern Cal by the name of Alex Coper was coming to give a course in Spain. So I thought, oh, perfect. That's exactly where I wanted to go for my postgraduate training. So I signed up for the course and I went there to listen to him. Dr. Coper, Alex Coper, started the course in the morning, and the interpreter, unfortunately, could not understand what Alex Coper was explaining. So there was a big chaos, three times between the beginning and the break. They had to stop the course because they couldn't understand what the interpreter was saying. Everybody, of course, at the time was wearing earphones to listen to the translation. Everybody except me. So at the break, Alex Coper, being a very, very smart guy, he comes immediately, dashes to me, last row at the end of the room. He says, "You young guy, can you understand everything I'm saying?" I was really worried, concerned. I say, "Yes, Dr. Coper, I can understand everything you are saying. So why don't you translate for me?" I say, I have no problem in translating for you, but you have to talk to the organizer. I'm only a student that came over from Madrid to listen to you. He goes over to Dr. Aliaga, president of the Valencia Dental Dental Society. And he tells Aliaga, there is a student there that could do a perfect job if he translates for me. So Dr. Aliaga comes to me and he asks me, do you mind translating the 2-day course? I said, no, not only I don't mind, I would be delighted to do so. And I did. That is how I became to know Dr. Alex Coper, at the time, chairman of Advanced Pros at USC and chairman of Continuing Education. Needless to say, then within 1 year, I was studying at USC. One last thing. When I graduated from USC, Alex Coper, being chairman of Continuing Education also, he said, why don't we start? When he said, why don't we, he meant, why don't you? Why don't we start an extension of USC in Spain? Not only in Spain, I, together with some friends, with a committee, we started the USC extension for Europe. And for almost 20 years, we were inviting first professors of USC and UCLA, then professors and clinicians from all over the States. They would be coming into Spain for 10 days, and they would present a course in Barcelona, Friday and Saturday, And then in Madrid, the next weekend, also Friday or Saturday, I would translate the course, and it was really, really a great success amongst the Spanish community. In 1985, our speaker, our guest lecturer was Ronnie Goldstein. Ronnie Goldstein came to lecture through the USC Extension Europe in Barcelona and in Madrid. And when having dinner on the last day, he asked me, Jaime, have you ever been to the American Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry? I said, yes, of course I have, twice. He says, why don't you guys get a European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry going? And I was delighted to hear that, because that was exactly what Philippe Gallon and Eddie Levinson and I and several others had been talking about, but we had never sat down to work it out. We did, and that's how the European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry started, 1986, and I was the third president. I organized two meetings, one in Barcelona, 1991, and one in Madrid, which I called at the time the World Symposium in Aesthetic Dentistry. We had 40 speakers. It was 4 days Congress, and we needed a great sponsor for that. Since the Olympic Games were happening in Barcelona in 1992, I thought, okay, I'll talk to Dikke Haase, and I will ask him, would he be ready to sponsor the Dental Olympics in Madrid in June 1992. So he did, and that was a fantastic success. And you can divide aesthetic dentistry in Spain before and after this World Congress in Aesthetic Dentistry, June 1992.
Wow. Jaime, you represent the story of aesthetic dentistry. It's amazing. And Violet, what about you? Maybe it's a little bit shorter due to the age.
It's absolutely shorter. I'm not as established as Jaime, but good to see you, Andrea and Jaime, again. It's always a pleasure to see great people, great friends getting back together. And I really look forward to our upcoming meeting this year together, where we're going to have the IFED meeting in Abu Dhabi. But back to to the question that I have in terms of how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. I have to second first what Jaime mentioned about, like, nothing in this life is easy, and you have to work hard in order to achieve what you need to achieve, and set your goals at the beginning, and then again work so much in order to get to that level where you want to be. I come from a very simple family back in Syria. Have a brother and a sister. My father, who is also my reference, who is also my role model, he was in the army at that time, and of course you can imagine that being raised by someone in the army, it has to be like everything by the book, by the clock, like in terms of studying, in terms of being prepared, being on time, setting goals and achieving these goals. So this is how we were raised, and we have, like, in our culture, the saying that if you want to be someone established, you have to be either a physician, a dentist, or a lawyer, or an engineer, maybe something like this. So this is the mindset of that region. So we have been fed, me, my brother, and my sister, the whole time about you need to become one of these. So, and in order to be this, your grades should be very high. So we worked hard, and then got into the option, either I go to the army, or I go to Institute of Scientific Research, or to dentistry, and I chose dentistry. And then after I finished my dental school, I got accepted in oral maxillofacial surgery program. I finished the program in oral surgery, and then I moved to Germany, and that was the change of my life. So I got accepted, and it's a funny story because back at that time, 22 years ago, we didn't have in Syria any kind of internet or communication. You send an email, you get it back. We have to write a letter, send it with a normal mail, and then you will wait for the response to get back to you. And I remember I corresponded with more than, I think, 30 universities in Europe. And I got actually an acceptance for a scholarship program at the University of Oslo back at that time. And it was interesting for an orthodontics program. And I said, yeah, orthodontics, why not? From oral surgery to orthodontics, maybe I can do a nice combination afterwards. That was a fully sponsored program. So I had to send my documents and my dossier, everything related to it, within a specific time frame. So I sent it at that time with DHL. And then I waited for about 2 months and I didn't hear back from them. So after 2 months, I grabbed the phone, I called there at the university, and it was very expensive to call at that time. There's no like WhatsApp or like Viber or any kind of FaceTime. So you call and you have to calculate by minute how much you're gonna pay. I tell them, where are my documents? And they said, we never received your documents. So my whole scholarship was lost. So I lost a fully sponsored scholarship for orthodontics in Oslo. And at the same time, I had an acceptance to go to the University of Freiburg in Germany. And that was not a scholarship, but rather I had to, there's a tuition, I have to pay tuition for it. So that was like the dilemma. It's like from fully sponsored to that you have to pay for it. So I had to take my chances, and I went to Germany. And that was, I think, the best thing that happened in my life. I got exposed and got mentored by one of the greatest people that I ever met, Jörg Stroop, who taught me the passion for dentistry, taught me the passion for caring and supporting others, taught me about how to critically think and analyze, and also, most important is how to do good dentistry. So I finished the program there, and he was very supportive. They extended an offer to work there as an assistant professor. I stayed there then in Germany, and then afterwards I got sponsorship for doing my research as a visiting scholar at UCLA School of Dentistry. So I moved to the US, and I stayed there for 2 years doing research and some teaching. And then I went back to Germany and I took over the directorship of the postgraduate program in perioprosthodontics at the Department of Prosthodontics under Jörg Stroop's leadership. And then I did my PhD. And then afterwards, after you get your PhD and professorship, you have the option of either staying where you are, going to private office, or continue in academia. And then you have to look for a position that you can lead a department or something like this. So I got a couple of opportunities, and the opportunity that worked best for me is Tufts School of Dental Medicine. I moved here since 4 years now. It's crazy how the time goes fast. 2018, I moved to the US, and I can say that it has been a good decision, and I'm happy to be here. And maybe about Jaime, we met, I think, and maybe he doesn't remember, but it was back in 2006 or 7.
Yes, I remember.
It was in Karlsruhe in Germany. That was the ICP, the International College of Prosthodontists workshop. And he was there. I met him on the stairs, and he was, as we all know, Jaime, very, very pleasing personality, very welcoming personality. And I said, who's this guy? And they said, you don't know this guy? He's Jaime Gil. And I was like, wow, that Jaime Gil is one of the big names in terms of organizing meetings, bringing people together. And this is what I like about him. He has the personality of putting people together and setting up great things. So that was just a short thing about me.
Well,
Thank you,
sure. It
Thank
was
you.
very, very interesting. I didn't know, actually, even though we're friends, I didn't know so many details. So it's interesting. And Jaime, you mentioned about your father and also Yuval. Besides them, who do you have as a reference in your life? Who do you consider a reference for you?
My life is full of references, really full of references. When they say this, standing on the shoulder of giants, this certainly applies to my life. I've been so lucky, starting with my father, following by Dr. Amancio Tomé and Dr. Fernando del Rio at the University of Madrid. They encouraged me to go to the States and get postgraduate training there. They were fantastic. Not to mention Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper was not only my mentor, but he was like my godfather. He even attended our wedding. He even came over with his wife Corinne to our wedding. Amazing. He was an incredible guy. I learned so much from him besides dentistry. And then so many more. I would love to mention Dr. Fabio Toffinetti. He was my mentor in the European Academy, and we founded together IFED in 1994 in Florence. And I'm sure, Andrea, you have many more things to tell about this than we don't have time to go into this now. And Ronnie Goldstein not only encouraged me to get the European Academy started, he was here in May '85, and Margarita and I were getting married in August that year. And we were going to go to a honeymoon in Acapulco. And Ronnie Goldstein asked us, where are you going for the honeymoon? We say Acapulco. Bo Derek had made this fantastic film 10, and it was, part of it was done in Acapulco in Las Brisas Hotel. But Ronnie says, that's okay, but why don't you go to Hawaii? You should go to Maui. Maui, it's a fantastic place. It took him 10 seconds to convince me to go to Maui for a honeymoon. But when I told Margarita, who was listening to this, was very quiet. Margarita, he has the brain there, listening, but doesn't talk. And she lets me do the talk. And then she said, you'll come back to me and you'll see. So when I say, so why don't we go to Acapulco? She says, well, it's fine if you want to go to Hawaii, but then we just have to make our honeymoon longer. I say, oh, wonderful. So we ended up going 10 days to Acapulco, another week in LA, and another 10 days in Hawaii and Maui, going along with Ronnie Goldstein's suggestion. Ronnie Goldstein was certainly an incredible reference to me. Another big reference outside and inside the dental world, of course, is Dicker Haase. Dicker Haase's personality, he has such a huge personality, and is such has caused so much impact in international dentistry that I cannot say enough how much I have learned and I have enjoyed talking to him. He is really somebody that's very, very special. And of course, all along with USC, starting by our Dean, Abishai Sadan, and Director of all the restorative unit, Dr. Silas Duarte, Homer Sadeh, Glenn Samishima, all the chairmen at USC have been incredible references to me. And not only to me, I was the first Spanish dentist to go there, but I have encouraged more than 15 Spanish dentists that have been accepted for postgraduate training at USC. I know, Andrea, you're one of them. You went through the grad program. Winston Chi has done so much for us also. I can't say enough about what USC has done for Spanish dentistry and for all the Spanish dentists that have gone there for postgraduate training. And more and more and more, I could be talking of references in my life always, George Sharp International College of, which organization I was president of, and I am very proud of that. For the International Federation of Aesthetic Dentistry, I mentioned Fabio Tofinetti, Philippe Gallon, David Garber, Maurice and Henry Salama. The Atlanta team made a big impact on my life. So did Frank Spear and Vince Kokich and David Matthews. We invited them to Spain so many times. They did so much for Spanish dentistry. I tell you, it's been my whole life. As much time as many other professionals spend skiing, playing tennis, shooting, hunting, playing golf. Imagine if all those many hours that all these other dentists have dedicated to all these different variety of activities, you put them all together in continuing education. I've had my passion in continuing education. I had my passion in aesthetic dentistry, and I've devoted my whole life to it with the generosity of my wife, Margarita, of course.
Very nice, very nice. And what about you, Bayer?
As a reference, of course, I mentioned at the beginning, and I reconfirm my father and Jörg Strupp. These two people had a significant impact on my life, both from a private side and also from a professional side. And I can't say thank you enough for what they have done to me and how they paved the path for me to be where I am at the moment. Of course, as Jaime mentioned, like we have so many people that can be considered as a reference, whether it's good or bad in our life. But of course, we tend to remember the bad even more than the good things, because this is what sticks in our memory. But focusing on the positive things, I can mention, for example, how Jörg Strupp at that time, do you remember, I think both of you remember when we didn't have the digital cameras at that time, and then we had to take the films and then take the photos and then wait for 3 days until we get the slides ready for putting them in the carousel. And we were hoping that nothing happened wrong with the film or something like this, so the photos will be perfect. So we used to document the cases, and we used to get every week, I remember during the program, 5 films a week. So we can shoot as many photos out as we want. But of course, if you have a try-in, if you have like a framework or a biscuit bake or something like this, and you would like to go for the final, you cannot repeat the photos. So and I was very proud of my first implant case, I remember, and I put them in the magazine, and I went to Jörg Strupp. I scheduled an appointment. I went to him and I took the models. I was so proud of the case. And he started looking at, I remember looking at the magazine, flipping through it, and he says, well, you have some saliva here. Takes the slide and throws it in the trash in front of me. You have some, like the photo, there are some bubbles here. The light is not good. He throws it in the trash. And I was like, I'm going to pick them up from the trash. And he said, no, 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 it stays there. That was for me the moment when I learned to be meticulous in terms of doing everything as it should be, in terms of to be satisfied, self-satisfied. So this is something that I credit Jörg Strupp for, is how he taught us that to be always consistent in the quality that we're developing or delivering to in terms of teaching, in terms of research, in terms of patient services. All of these things should be one. Another person that I would like to mention is also my research mentor at UCLA, Takahiro Ogawa, who is, I don't know how to describe, but if you have someone that can publish more than 200 papers a year, I mean, that would be something that you have to learn from. So he taught me the real basic science research. He taught me how to look into ideas that can change the concepts that we are dealing with nowadays, whether it's about biology, whether it's about bone implant interface, whether about other stuff, like a lot of disruptive things. And I credit him as well for what he did for me. So again, this is my father, Jörg Stroop, and I would say also Takahiro Ogawa. These are the three people that always on the positive side, I remember them.
Very nice. Jaime, what personal feature do you think allowed you to get where you are?
Well, I think I have always been very persistent. As I said before, you have to fight in life for what you have. It's a matter of putting some goals, and it's a matter of developing the work, the effort, and the time to pursue those goals. But for that purpose, you have to plan. When I was a child, I learned to play chess. I'm a chess player. I loved chess to the point that I was the champion in my category, the champion of my region at the age of 16. The lesson that chess teaches you is you have to plan ahead. This is very important. In everything in life, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this I have repeated to my two boys. I have repeated to my students. I have repeated in my lectures. It is very important to plan. And once you plan, to work at it, to work very hard. And I can't help being a perfectionist. I have a brother. My brother Juan is a psychiatrist. He says, Jaime, it's good that you are a perfectionist. This is good, very good, but not to that point that it can be borderline with pathology. Relax a little. And you don't need to make it for 10. But I tell him, but if I don't aim at perfection, if I don't aim at excellence, then there's no such thing as perfection. So if you aim at it, maybe you will get an 8. If you're aiming at a 10, maybe you will get a 7. But it will never happen that you're going to achieve 100% of what you're trying to accomplish. I think that is my best future and maybe my flaw also, according to my psychiatrist brother Juan.
And what about you? What is your personal feature?
Very similar to Jaime, determination. I mean, if I'm determined to do something and I would like to do it, I'll work very hard just to get there, which of course in many cases requires patience, which is another feature that I have. It's like impatient, yet if I want to reach a goal, I will be patient until I get to that goal. So I think persistence or determination, this is what I think is the feature that allowed me to get where I am.
Nice. And Jaime, how difficult is for you to change one of your habits or protocols, but mainly your private habits?
Well, I have very clear in my mind that I read it. This is not mine. This I read. It says, it is not the strongest. It is not the smartest that will survive. It is those that can adapt to change.
Exactly. That's
change.
nice.
Life is a changing facet all the time, and you have to adapt. Whether you enjoy the change more, you enjoy the change less, but you have to have adaptability. And it's by changing and by adapting to change that you move on in life, you improve your abilities, you improve whatever you are at, in the clinic, at the university. what I certainly do is I always volunteer. Let me give you this story. The story is about 4 friends. They are called everybody, somebody, nobody, and anybody. There was a very important task to be done. And everybody thought that somebody would do it. But nobody did it when anybody could have done it. And learning from this, I always volunteer to do the task. It doesn't matter if it is to call a patient, if I have to, because my secretary has left or she called in an emergency. I don't have a problem in calling back to the patient. I don't have a problem in calling back to the electrician if we have an electricity problem at the office. I don't have a problem in calling someone that we need to come as a jury for a doctoral thesis in my university. I don't have a problem in calling a speaker that has written an email saying, I cannot make the engagement that I already had. I don't have a problem. My attitude is 100% proactive and pro-positive. That's what I strongly believe for and what I stand for.
Nice. And what about you, Val? How difficult is it for you to change?
I mean, looking at my my professional path,
Yeah.
I mean, it shows that I'm very flexible. So I've been in Syria, then in Germany, then in the US, then back to Germany, then back to the US. I mean, I don't really, I'm not rigid in terms of change, because I really believe that going out of your comfort zone is the key of having you go into progress. Because you stay in that circle of your comfort zone, but the magic is outside that comfort zone. So I think this is something that not only relates to me, but relates to any dental office, any business, any institute, or any university, when they are stuck within the same mentality, within the same protocol, with the same teaching concepts, they're not going to progress. So change is a must, and they have to accept it, and they have to time that, yes, are we going to be ahead of time in implementing this change? So when it happens and it's a must for everyone, then we are on that side already, and we are in the comfort zone then. But or we are going just to keep waiting and see what the others are doing, and then afterwards we're gonna decide whether we're gonna do this or not. This is a dilemma. So I think flexibility is and then having the courage to go out of the comfort zone, thinking about it's a risk, yes, but it's worth it in every aspect. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. So Jaime, what do you tell yourself in difficult moments? What is your inner dialogue?
Fight on, fight on. That is the motto in USC. You never give up. You never give up. And if you fall to the floor, you stand up and you keep fighting. That is what my father taught me. That's what I taught my 2 sons, Alfonso and Jaime.
Nice, nice. And what about you, Val?
2 things. First thing is think, and then, of course, accordingly plan how to react, how to act, how to engage, and always fight for what is right. That's it. Don't stop.
Nice, very, very interesting. I love these interviews because I feel like very close to both of you, and it's
that's why we're friends.
Yes.
Right.
That's why we like it.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Yeah. So Jaime, back to you. What is your bigger regret, if you have any, in your life?
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe I have not been good although I think I have proved to be a good planner, and planning ahead has always worked out very nicely. I have not been good at sports. I have to admit that this is a big flaw. I should have spent some time, and I will regret as I age more and more. I will regret more and more not having dedicated any time in my life to sport activities. I really think that is the regret. Maybe I could have a second regret is I don't know. I'm not able to say no. So when called, when asked, could you do this, could you do that? My attitude is so proactive that before I realize I am committing myself to many more things that I can do. And as my two sons always tell me, Dad, you have too many things in your plate.
That's very common, by the way. So, and what about you, Val?
I think it relates more to my home country because, as you know, coming from Syria, the country went through very difficult times. So when I moved to out of the country, it was back in 2020, I never went back. So even for a visit. So what happened is that I regret not going there before the whole war started and the issues in the country started. Because when I was planning after maybe 10 years, I would say, was it 2010 or 11, I was planning, okay, we're going to go with the whole family and then we're going to go back. The country has developed so much and there's so much new to discover. And then the war started. So we weren't able to go there. Now it's 22 years. I haven't been in my home country. And this is something that I really regret. And if you ask me, do you want to go now? I would say, I think I have to think twice before going or making a decision to go there, because that image from my childhood about all the good things, the friends, the neighborhood, the whole thing that we had, it changed. And maybe disrupting that image in my brain would be not a good thing. So this is my regret.
I see. This is, yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
Jaime, you are a reference for me on this side, so I'm going to ask you this question. How to find balance between profession and personal life? Because we know that in our profession it's very, very difficult because it's so much demanding, it's so challenging, it's so complicated to run an office and be a lecturer. So how did you manage all this so successfully in your life?
Well,
I'm going to take notes now. I'm going to take notes.
Thank you.
Well, first and foremost, I have to start by saying that of everything I have done in my professional life and in my academician life, I owe it entirely to the generosity of Margarita. Margarita, my wife, for 40 years, she's been always supporting me. She's been there raising the kids while Dad was traveling or lecturing or in an international meeting. She was always there educating and building solid principles in the education of our two children, Alfonso and Jaime. And the result is there. They are both dentists, number one, which I am very proud to say. Margarita is an orthodontist. Jaime Jr., the little one, went through orthodontic training, first in Valencia, and then at the University of Southern Cal. And today, he has already joined Margarita's practice. And this is such a big satisfaction to, after seeing this long process, now Jaime is back with Margarita, and he is he is the future of Margarita's practice, because Margarita and I have different practices. Although both in Bilbao, our practice in Albia, we have in the Albia Dental Clinic, there is 42 of us working in this practice. And when Margarita came back from her orthodontic training, she said, you know what? I would prefer to have my own office with my sister, Begonia, who's a pedodontist, and we will have a children's center. Of course, this children's center has matured and has enlarged, and now it's a multidisciplinary practice itself. But that's how they started, and Jaime is the future of that practice. On the other hand, Alfonso, as you know, first went to USC for period implants under the direction of Homer Sade, and then as soon as he finalized there, he joined the implant center at UCLA with Peter Moy as director of Alfonso's training in advanced implantology. And when I thought Alfonso was going to come back and join my practice, the Albia Dental Clinic, he says, you know what, Dad? I want to go to Zurich, to the Department of Prosthodontics directed by Professor Christoph Hammerly. I said, Alfonso, that's too difficult, very difficult. He says, let me try. Well, to make a long story short, he gets accepted and has been 5 years at the Department of Prosthodontics at the University of Zurich, and is now under the direction of Dr. Ronnie Jung. These two young boys are so mature now that I am learning from them every day, and I will learn much more. Unfortunately, in September, Alfonso will be joining our practice, and now I know my boss already. I knew who my boss was at home. That was very clear in my mind, Margarita. Now I also know who will be my boss in my office, Alfonso.
That's very nice.
If I may, so Jaime, me and Andrea would like to learn from you. The question is, like, are you hinting like, let our wives take their job in terms of things, and then we'll do the travel and the whole thing? Like, how do you find the balance? This is what I'm trying to.
And another question is, for those who do not have the privilege of having Margarita. Sorry?
The ladies are so much smarter. They are so much smarter. Let them direct. They will take the ship to port. For sure. And that's what
Weil, here is the suggestion.
Okay.
They are brilliant. And they do it in a very nice way. It doesn't hurt. Margarita will never say, do that. She will say, do you mind, Jaime? Do you think it would be a good idea? And the result is, it's always a good idea to follow her advice.
Yeah.
But jokes apart, I agree that females have that kind of intuitive feature that always help. That we are actually missing. Definitely. And Weil, what about you? So how you find balance? I mean, you are so busy. You're lecturing every weekend. You're running the program at Taft. You're running your practice. You're president of the Arabic Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry. How do you manage all this?
It's difficult. I mean, it's really difficult. It's not easy. At some point, I can also go back in the time. I remember when we started to get our emails on our phones. I used to get the notifications, and then you wake up at 3 a.m. or something like this. Oh, what did come? What something like this? You have to make a cut at some point and say, well, this is my family time. This is my private time. This is where you step back, you forget everything about work and do it. Yet it's still it continues to be difficult because you are getting invitations to lecture at different meetings. You have to organize some stuff. You have to be working with patients. I don't think that it's at my stage now that I'm able to make that balance like 50-50. I cannot make it at the moment. But and also, I think the women, they play a big role in our lives, and they're taking care of the kids, they're raising the family. I think we have to be acknowledging that thing, that it's giving us the space to do what we are passionate about, and then at the same time be relaxed and know that the kids and the family is being taken care of. So I hope at some point that I will be able to find that appropriate balance. And in summer, of course, we go from vacation, we go to family. In winter, we have also vacation. But yet the time goes so fast, and I can say like the same for you, Andrea or Jaime, that the kids, they grow up very fast, and we see sometimes I'm surprised, oh, already 5 years passed. Like my son, he's like now 13, and my daughter, she's 9, and they were born yesterday. And I said, wow, I'm getting old. I was like, like you just think about it and you reflect back about these things. So we need always to have that point where you are going to say, okay, I'm going to dedicate time for myself, for my family, for private time, and then we have to dedicate time for the work. I'm not successful, so I'm not the reference in this yet.
We are all working on it.
Yeah.
Jaime, if you would have a magic wand, what would you change in your life?
As I said before, I would dedicate some time to sport activities. So far, I have an annual checkup, and so far I'm doing fine. So I can only thank God for it. But eventually, I will have to regret that I didn't find any time for physical activity. I think that is, if I had a magic wand, I think this would have been a smart decision to make that I didn't.
Okay. And Val, what about you?
It's funny, but more kids. Yes. I love kids.
This I didn't expect, Val.
I love kids, and if I would like to something change, like of course, yes, having more kids. But apart from that, what to change is actually to have that balance, to find that balance, which is at our times is not easy. So at some point it will happen. But again, if I had that magic wand, I would have done it immediately.
Nice, nice. Jaime, tell us, summarizing your life, what did you do very well? This is a nice question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very important question. I think, Andrea, the best I did was planning. I did not leave things to improvisation. I always planned my life not 6 months ahead, but 3 years ahead, 2 years ahead, as much as possible. And it gives you a great advantage because, well, as time goes by, you can modulate and make some modifications, but it enables you to organize your clinical life together with your university life. I love my university life. I love my students, but I also love my clinical practice, and I love my Dr. Zavalegi. Both of them are my partners, Dr. Borja Zavalegi and Dr. John Zavalegi. And we've been together for 40 years. 40 years we started the practice. We made the celebration June 1st. Last June 1st, we had our 40th anniversary. it's amazing that you have the same partners and you get along well and you have a good time together 40 years later. Not many partners can say that. Not many partners can be as proud as I am of having so fantastic partners. And in the personal life, not many couples can be have the pride that I have in being together with Margarita for more than 40 years now and enjoy every day of it. Every day she makes me laugh. Believe it or not, every day Margarita makes me laugh. Incredible. How she does it, I don't know. But when she sees me laugh, she says, I did it again.
Wow, this is so nice, so sweet. Val, what about you? What did you do very well in your life?
I think in terms of professional development, I've been, I can say that I did that in a very good way because I went through two postgraduate programs. I studied in my home country. I got my DMD from there, or the DDS, and then I got the German DMD degree, and I got the PhD in Germany as well, and then I got the American one. So I tried to progress in all three aspects as an academician, in research, in education, and also in patient services. And when I look back, I'm very, you're always going to learn. You're always going to continue to learn. We never stop learning, and we never stop developing. But if I look back, I'm very satisfied with what I achieved. And of course, I have to credit, as Jaime mentioned as well, my wife, who has been very supportive all of these years and very patient about all the times that I have been out or waking up all the night, or like working, doing some stuff, trying to finish them on time. It's important to have someone that supports you.
Yeah, definitely. So the last question, Jaime, if you could give just one suggestion to one person, to our viewers, which one would be?
If it would be a professional suggestion, I would say have passion for your profession, whatever it is. Live your professional life with passion. If it's a personal advice, and this I would give to anybody that's getting married, but especially to my sons, Alfonso and Jaime Jr., I would tell them, happy wife, happy life. And don't forget it, that has to be your paramount thought in your married life.
Very nice. And what is your opinion on this? What is your suggestion, your one suggestion?
In addition to what Jaime said, in terms of the passion, work hard, like really work hard, set your goal and work hard to achieve that goal. Nothing is impossible, nothing. You can achieve whatever you want, but just be persistent, committed, and always on top of things until you get to your goal.
Very nice.
And Jaime, I need to remind you of when we see each other, I have another one, another thing. You said happy wife, happy life. I have another one that I'm going to tell you about. That you're
Yes, please. Yes, please. Always ready to learn. That's my attitude.
Exactly.
Maybe in Abu Dhabi we can meet and share this.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Abu Dhabi. Don't forget Abu Dhabi, the end of October.
Yeah. We are going to say something about it. But before that, I would like to play a little game with you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, approximately 7 or 8 questions, and you should reply in one word. So basically, one or the other option that I provide you. So very fast and fun, okay? So for example, tech-wise, do you prefer, Jaime, to schedule your appointments with a traditional agenda or with a smartphone?
With a traditional agenda, but I know I am starting to do it with an informatic program as soon as Alfonso joins the practice September 1st.
I see. And what about you, Vaya?
Smartphone.
Smartphone.
Definitely, yes.
Travel, Jaime, nature travel or city travels?
City travels, city travels. I am an urban person.
I see. And what about you, Vaya?
Likewise, yes. City.
Likewise. Okay. Travel, do you prefer to fly or to go by train?
To fly is much more effective. I love flying, although I love trains, but that will be something in the future. For now, airplanes.
Airplanes. Vaya?
The same thing, also airplanes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So cars, do you prefer Jaime a sport car or elegant car?
Always an elegant car. Am I a sports guy? No.
I don't see you in a sport car. You're so elegant. What about you, Vaya?
Can I say both?
Yes, yes.
I
you
like
can.
both, yeah.
I
Elegant,
see.
sporty yet elegant.
Okay, sportly elegant, nice. Watch, Apple Watch or Rolex? Jaime?
Rolex all the time.
Rolex all the time. Vaya?
Same thing, also Rolex.
Brain, do you consider yourself analytical or artistic, Jaime?
No, analytical, too analytical.
Vaya?
Also very analytical, yes.
Very
Not,
analytical.
not artistic, no.
Yeah. So, book, do you prefer Kindle or paper book?
Paper book, of course. What a pleasure. I love books. I love books. The
Yes.
smell of them, I like also.
Yes, yes. And what about you, Vaya?
Yeah, I'm not a Kindle fan simply because of its design, but definitely, yes, paper books are going to continue to be something different because we were raised with paper books.
Yes.
And we grew with them, so it's going to stay.
Yeah. Yes. We still belong to the generation where we need to print in order to study and read. Unfortunately, maybe it will change. It's bad for the trees, but it's much better, in my opinion. So, Jaime, the last question. Are you planning to retire and enjoy the family or to work in your office forever?
I don't even know the verb retire. It's not in my mind. Ask my sons.
It's okay. You are allowed not to reply because you don't understand the question. It's okay.
I don't understand the question. Very good.
And what about you, Vaya?
I mean, at some point you will retire, but for me, retirement and what I have learned from many people that I know is like kind of goes in a sad way. So I don't want to be in that direction. So I would like to have my health and my energy to be as long as it can be in order to continue to give and share with others and enjoy life with others, whether in office or with family. So I would say, yes, I would like to continue working until and enjoy my time with the family, both, of course.
Nice, very nice. So basically, this is the last IFED night talk before the Abu Dhabi meeting. And here we have the privilege of having the president of the IFED and the president of the Arabic Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry. So you might both want to say something and welcome our audience to Abu Dhabi. Jaime, you go first.
I would like to encourage everybody to come to Abu Dhabi on the end of October. It's going to be a fantastic meeting. Please look at the program. The scientific program is paramount. It's excellent all the way, all the way. Abu Dhabi is a fantastic place, a fantastic tourist attraction, and the program that Wild and ESAM are organizing for us is going to be amazing, I can assure you. So now that we've been with the COVID so long, not being able to go to meetings and having to do Zoom meetings and online meetings, now that we can go back again to face-to-face meetings, please give me the joy. I promise I will hug everybody that comes there. Men, of course.
And you should know, that when Jaime says something, he actually mean it, and he will do it for sure.
I promise.
Yes, yes. And Vile, what did you organize for us in Abu Dhabi?
We have a fantastic meeting in terms of not only the scientific program, but also in terms of the social program and the activities that you can do there. It's the first time that the IFED meeting would go to the Middle East, and especially now in the Gulf region. Abu Dhabi is a hub that is very modern, with a very nice infrastructure. That the restaurants, the services, everything is really fantastic. You can find whatever you want in terms of you would like to go to the sea and do some skiing, you would like to go for some kite surfing, you would like to swim or lie at the beach and have a nice drink with your family or a significant other, or only by yourself. Or you can decide to go to the desert, to go for a desert safari and then watch or spend the evening there with some barbecue in the desert with some traditional dance. There's so much to do. The location of the meeting will be again in Abu Dhabi, in a very nice 5-star hotel that is overseeing the 6-star hotel on the opposite side, the Emirates Palace. And the food, the program, everything has been worked on since months now, and we are ready to go. So looking forward to greet everyone that is going to join us and enjoy this unique setup that we have done now in Abu Dhabi. And of course, as Jaime mentioned, with the after the COVID, it's a nice comeback. The weather, don't forget, the weather is going to be fantastic. So anyone who's coming from Europe or even from North America or from Northern Asia will understand that how it's nice to be there when the temperature is around 30 degrees, 25 to 30 degrees during daytime, and in the evening between 20 to 25. So you can be in your t-shirts and in light clothes, summer clothes all day long. So please don't hesitate to register and come.
Yeah, well, knowing both of you, I'm sure that you plan everything, and listening to your project is, I can't wait to be there. And actually, is it possible to do everything? Like scientific program, social events, and not missing anything? Please organize it in such a way that I won't miss anything.
We promise.
Then you have to add 2 more days, Andrea. 2 more days.
I will. After the meeting, after lecturing, I will stay extra days.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the opportunity of organizing these evenings. Thank you, Jaime. Thank you, Vile, for your amazing interview and sharing your feelings, your experience, your ideas. And I really enjoyed. I really learned many things, even though I know you quite well and we are good friends. But this is the beauty of this project, that we can go and deep in depth on the feature of our guests. So I will again thank you again for being here, and I would like to welcome all of you in Abu Dhabi in October. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you. Our toast goes to you, Andrea. Thank you.
You did a wonderful job, Andrea. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao.